So here we go. This is it, episode 207. NoLaughTrack podcast, Acme's NoLaughTrack podcast, right here, Acme Comedy Company. My name is Justin Severson, the host. Thank you, Circle of Heat, for letting us play your music there at the beginning. Last week, we had some return favorites, Cy Amundsen, David Huntsberger. Next week, a return favorite, Andy Kindler. Really looking forward to that. This week, a newbie, someone I've never met, and his first time on this podcast. It is Alan Strickland Williams. That's one person, three names.
That's right. Yeah. Sometimes I can act like three people, but for the most part, yeah, usually just one.
Is which one of those is that? Here's a dumb. We're gonna start with a dumb question.
No such thing.
Real name?
Real name. They're all. That's just my full name. So Alan is my first name. That's also my mom's maiden name. Strickland is my middle name. That's my grandmother's maiden name, and then Williams is my last name.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, is there anyone in your family that feels left out that you didn't take their name?
Yeah, but they're dead, so who cares?
That's how we start a show. There we go. Well, thank you for coming down and joining me here on a Wednesday afternoon when the weather's nice. I appreciate it. Last night, when did you get to Minneapolis?
I got in around 3 or 4 p.m.
Yesterday?
On Tuesday, and I think I was here for maybe an hour and some change before the sky fell open.
Right.
So yeah, it was kind of a wet welcoming, but
yep.
I grew up in Florida, so I'm used to that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Florida's got, or we have nothing on Florida when it comes to rain, really. Have you been to Minneapolis, Minnesota? Any history here at all?
This is my first time. I don't think I've ever even been through Minnesota. I think the closest I've ever been is probably driving across the country one time through Chicago, maybe, or Missouri or something like that.
Like,
yeah.
Hey, there's an exit that says Minnesota's up north. Well, that's, dude, you're headlining Acme, your first time in Minnesota.
I'm lucky to be here. I'm happy to be here, and from what I've seen so far of the people in the city, it's fucking great.
Yeah. How was the show last night?
It was really fun, for we're coming off the July 4th weekend and everything, and there literally were like, actually during the show, I heard multiple cell phones get the flash flood warning during my set, and I was talking about how California's in a drought while I was on stage. So, but all that being said, with the 3-day weekend and the weather and everything, it was a great crowd, and they were they were brave and mighty, and we had a great time. Yeah.
The only thing that would have made that better is if you would have been doing a story about like Christ coming back to,
and then his cell phone goes off.
Oh, there's flash floods everywhere. Don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed, everyone. Last night was because of that weather, it was a weird night here, and I was over in St. Paul working the Adele concert.
She tried to get me to go up there, but I couldn't. I had to do.
Yeah, you should have.
I had to. I had a job. I had to do my job.
One of the guys I work with was he was giving his critique of the show of the Adele show last night, and he's like, "But she must not have much material because she sure talks a lot between songs." And I said, I think her fans show up for that.
Yeah,
for her chit chatting, and
most of my comedy audiences, they have the reverse complaint. They're like, he doesn't sing enough. So I'm trying to incorporate some numbers into my act so that look out for that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna let you take full credit for this one, Alan. The Twins set an interesting record last night, the Minnesota Twins. Mm-hmm. Lowest attendance ever at Target Field.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah, and I'm not making that up. 16,938 was their attendance.
It doesn't surprise me. I watched the game. I went over to the Free House or whatever it's called over there after the show for a little late night nightcap for a beverage or two. And they had it on there, and there's low attendance at the game and low attendance at the bar. So it was, I felt like I was there.
Yeah, no, It's because you were here at Acme. The Twins couldn't give away tickets last night.
Twins, me, Adele. I mean, Twin Cities. You're just spoiled for choice.
Right. And the other thing, and we're not going to compare your you to Adele ticket sales because it's not fair.
Well, also, it's just happened so many times in my career at this point that I just really wish people would stop talking about it. I'm like, why? This is like apples and Adele's,
She, most people, not most, but quite a few people got tickets to her show as Christmas presents. And if we go back, I don't think at Christmas time anyone knew you were coming to Acme.
Right.
So it's really not fair.
No, that's completely bogus.
It's really not fair at all. And I also learned this morning, scouring the internet, that today is National Fried Chicken Day.
I saw that too on on some social media thing, and I love fried chicken. And all that
do
stuff.
you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm from pretty Southern family, and I get drunk and go to Denny's a lot. So
one of my daughters calls it chicken on the bone.
Chicken on the bone.
I like chicken on the bone.
I like that. That's nice.
So happy National Fried Chicken Day. I had a Reuben for lunch, so I didn't hit it up. There's always tonight.
Yeah, there's always time for fried chicken.
Damn right. So let's see. Since it's your first time here, we should probably, or the first time on this podcast, we should probably do a little background on your start in comedy.
Cool.
Where should we start? I saw you were raised in Florida. You've mentioned.
Yeah, I grew up there. And for kindergarten to high school, and then I left for college and wound up in LA, and that's where I started doing stand up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You left for college?
I left for college, and then through college I did an internship in Los Angeles after my junior year or whatever, and then that kind of led me into a job once I graduated and got me out there, and I just wanted to go out there for, honestly, like the weather and just to kind of get on the other side of the country. Yeah. But I started doing stand-up when I was out there and kind of just took off from there.
How was childhood in Florida?
Hot, pretty muggy, Florida's just a really...
Let's
crazy
put it this
place.
way. I used to, as we were talking a little bit before we started recording, I was on a radio show for like 15 years. Mm-hmm. And the oddest stories out of the United States come from Florida.
Well, and I really do think that heat makes people crazy. Mm-hmm. I really think it does. And beyond that, if your whole state's basically like, the air conditioning's out, people are going to start acting up. People are going to start acting crazy. And then also, Florida's just a weird place. It's literally the whole thing is a swamp. There's prehistoric lizard kings walking around on all fours, 10 feet long. There's snakes. I mean, it's a jungle. Yeah. So it's like, of course. I one time was just, just for shits and giggles, I was like, I wonder what's going on back in Clay County. That's where I'm from. Uh-huh. And I just looked up, so the local paper, local news, whatever. And this is a few months ago. And one of the headlines was so funny. It was like, snake knocks out power to thousands in Clay County. And then I read the article, and then like a few paragraphs in, they're like, this is the second time it's happened this month. I'm like, well, something's going on. If we've got a snake fucking with an electricity problem, maybe we should move north.
Was there an artist rendition of the snake that people should be on the look for?
Oh yeah, yeah. There was a really good police sketch drawing. Long tongue, skinny, two really big teeth in the front, I think. Looks like tattoos all up and down its back.
Right.
Yeah.
Resembled a boot.
Yeah. Was always hissing.
Did you guys ever have any wild animals sneak into the house when you were growing up?
I don't think we ever had anything that bad. My dad and I would golf a lot, and we would see rattlesnakes always on like the putting green, and stuff like that. You see a lot of alligator. I used to run cross country, so we'd run all over. And a lot of times you're running next to a retention pond or a creek or whatever, and just halfway on your run, you're almost step on an alligator.
Do you ever get used to seeing alligators that much?
Oh, I'm pretty desensitized to it now, actually, and they're not really that bad or anything. It's just, every time I go back and I see one, just sort of, sometimes they'll just walk around if you live near water, and I'm like, wow, it's like a poor man's Jurassic Park.
Completely. Yeah. If when a question the kids are often asked, what's your favorite animal?
Mm-hmm.
I stand by my favorite animal is alligator.
Is alligator
yeah,
really?
I think they're
like
fascinating.
That.
I love
like
that their mouths kind of look like they're smiling.
Yeah,
at the end.
they're probably just ate marshmallows or a neighbor's dog or something. Yeah, no, they're I was upset. I mean, when you're a kid, you're obsessed with dinosaurs and all that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I loved them, but now I'm just like, they're just, it's just so crazy to me just to think about. They're like 12 feet long. They're like animal killing machines, and they're just walking around Florida.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then every now and then, of course, people get them as pets up here.
Yeah,
and then they can't handle them. Then all of a sudden, it's like, I think there was an alligator spotted in Lake Minnetonka.
Wow.
Like,
really?
That's happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the exotic animal trade comes in through Florida apparently because I don't know, maybe it's just easy to sneak them in. Or I don't know, the alligator's working on the inside, sneak them in or something like that.
It's always somebody inside.
Yeah.
Did you get to do any of the touristy stuff? Like, so I was born and raised in Minnesota, and I've been to Florida, all for touristy stuff. Growing up there, do you get to go do the touristy stuff?
Yeah, we would do a little bit. I mean, you basically just go down to Orlando for a day and go to the what do you call it, Disneyland or Disney World or whatever. It's we did that a good bit. What the other stuff that you would do to go back to alligators is there's a lot of glass bottom boats.
I've never done
Florida.
that.
Yeah, that was always fun. We did that a lot as a family, and actually the alligator farm too in St. Augustine. That was always a fun one. They've got albino alligators there. Yeah, and I'm not convinced it's not just spray paint, but
they don't let them get wet, do they?
Yeah, no, they're please do not touch the alligators. Yeah, there's I grew up right outside of St. Augustine, which is like super touristy. Okay. Location with little walk around shops and all that stuff. So yeah, we did. I mean, Florida is kind of a tourist destination just in general. So kind of grew up with a lot of that stuff.
And where you living now?
I live in Los Angeles now.
How was that?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, there's some touristy vibe to it too, but really it's just it's a babe every day. Like there's just the weather's perfect and people are nice. And, if you're doing comedy, it's like maybe the best place to be in the country.
Sure. What I'm always curious about people's living conditions in these big cities.
It's good. I've got some roommates.
I've
lived with a girlfriend. I've lived alone. I've done pretty much whatever mix of how you can live while there. And since I travel and stuff a good bit, and my other roommates do too, they're all comedians or writers or whatever.
Right on.
It's kind of like it's a good creative vibe and cheap. So makes it easy.
That's the key.
Yeah,
that's the key. So you started comedy. I know. From what I was reading, you kind of started doing sketch.
Yeah, I in college I did sketch comedy with a group, and kind of like, I guess you would say, learned a little bit how to at least write a joke, and even sketch is totally different from stand up, but I mean you still learn about projecting and hitting your lines and your punchlines and your setups and everything, and then waiting for laughs and stuff like that.
Had you done that before college? Anything like that?
No, never. I didn't do anything like that. But then I got to LA, and I was not really interested in pursuing comedy per se. Maybe I like to write, and I wanted to work in entertainment and TV in some way, but I didn't think about actually doing it myself. But then I realized I actually missed getting up on stage and making people laugh, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I only know how to do sketch comedy, but I really didn't know anyone when I first moved to Los Angeles. So I was like, well, fuck, I'll just do stand-up because you don't have to know anyone. You can just do it on your own. So I started doing that, and did the open mic thing for a while, and that's its own hell, but kind of like just stuck through it, and yeah, a few years later, 5-6 years later, however, here we are.
Okay. Was the contest going on here last night? The funniest person?
Yeah, but it was a 2-person contest last night.
Yeah.
So it was
runner up and winner.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a small competition. It was more of a duel.
Yeah.
But
there you go.
yeah, I'm excited to see what else they got.
Did you do stuff like that?
Yeah, every once I remember I used to do this one show kind of early on that was kind of like that. You do an open mic, and then from that open mic, the guy that ran, I think this was at the Ice House in Pasadena, which is a pretty good club out in LA. And you would do this open mic, and then he would like pick a few people to go do another show, and then you do that. And there was some sort of voting involved, but a lot of it was like, bring your friends.
Sure.
Real like Chicago Democratic voting methods.
Nice.
But yeah, I did all sorts of stuff like that. There was like maybe like competitions or open mics that like happened before a booked show, things like that.
Yeah, I might like. I always think back. Like I told you before we started this today, I've never done stand up, and even when I think back to high school, because in childhood I tried to avoid any type of public speaking, like standing in front of the group or anything. Did you ever have problems with that when you were younger or anything?
I was a little bit of a. I guess I don't really even remember. I wasn't super into attention by any means, but I was definitely a smart ass, and I definitely would, if I knew the right thing to say at the right moment, I wouldn't shy away from it. And I think that's kind of the way I still am, maybe. But yeah, it is crazy. People really, still a lot of times what you hear after a show is like, God, it's just like I could never go up and talk in front of people like that. And I get it. I mean, I was, looking back on it, I was really nervous when I first started because I had performed, with the sketch group and everything, but you're with other people on stage. So this is kind of my first time doing it alone, and that was kind of interesting because, I mean, I always said it took me 6 months to get comfortable enough to take the microphone out of the stand because I would just walk up, arms crossed, sort of like, staring down the barrel at it.
Yeah, if you could actually hide behind them, mic stands.
My body is almost small enough to not be seen. But yeah, so I totally get it. I remember after a show one time, someone was like, I just never in a million years could do what you did. And I was like, oh, well, what do you do? And he was like, I'm on leave from Iraq. I'm like, wow, I could never do that. It's just like, so you
didn't go, of course you couldn't, pussy.
Yeah, it's like, that's fucking right. No, it's people are, public speaking. That's the number one fear, I think, still.
Yeah, it's one of the worst memories of my life is standing in social studies class, having to do some maybe 10-minute, maybe even 5-minute. I don't remember that part, but I remember literally shaking. I had little note cards and could barely read them because my hands were shaking so much.
This is definitely a recurring nightmare for you, right?
Oh, man. Oh, God.
Well, luckily for you, we have your social studies class from 6th grade.
It turns out someone was recording. Hey! Thankfully, there were no phones with camera shit. There was barely even pagers back then. Nobody had a phone with a camera. That's for damn sure. Thankfully. Very thankfully. So wait a minute. Let's go back to the math here. So you've been doing comedy for, what, 5 or 6 years?
I started in, like at the very end of 2009. That was when I really started, like, to go at it and do it. And everyone says it's like when you just become totally obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And like for a good year and a half, 2 years, it was every night I would do an open mic or write or whatever, or go to a show, and that like just consumed everything for a while.
Yeah. Well, when's the last time you had a job that wasn't comedy?
A while. I've been pretty fortunate to make money through comedy and writing and acting. Not much by any means, but enough. And yeah, my last job was actually, I was just doing a radio spot earlier. at WCCO, and I walked in and I was like, oh yeah, my last job was at a radio station. I used to work at an NPR affiliate in LA at on a what do you call it, call-in kind of local national news magazine show. So I did that. I was a producer. I started as an intern actually and worked my way up to a producer, and actually reached a certain point where they were like, hey, like, you're good at this, and we could probably find a way to like get you maybe another job at the station or whatever. But that was also the same time that like comedy was kind of taking off and I was getting more opportunities, and it was like, I don't want to wake up early every morning to work at this radio station and then be tired at night when that's really what I'm trying to focus on. That was the last sort of like regular, I mean, it wasn't even 9 to 5. It was more like 8 to, I don't know, 6 or whatever the hours were.
Sure.
Job that I had. So yeah, that was the last one.
You had a radio job as a producer. No kidding.
Yeah, I know. It was crazy. And like, it was good work, and if you have like half a brain, I think it's stimulating. It's something new every day, which is really nice. I appreciate that. But, it just got to the point where it was like, well, it doesn't really make sense for me to be here. And I'm sure there's, for every one of me, there's 12 people that could do the job probably even better and have an actual journalism degree and all that good stuff. Yeah.
No kidding. Huh. That's interesting. That's what I was doing. My last radio gig was producing.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, and I some of me wants to do it again, but then also I think that radio is not what it was, and I can still do a job in front of a microphone without having to answer to anyone at a radio station.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it was interesting to kind of see how, and this was like a public radio, whatever you want to say, station, and to still see kind of how corporate a lot of it was, and how the different moving parts. I was kind of like, I mean, that's one of the most brilliant things about stand-up is like, yeah, you have to deal with the audience and maybe like club owners and bookers and stuff like that, but really, I mean, it's like you do whatever the fuck you want,
Pretty
it's
much your own boss.
It's your material. It's whatever you want to say. You still have to suffer the consequences if someone doesn't like it or whatever, but it's like that freedom is just so, it's insane.
Yeah. If we would go back and look at the school notes from young Alan Strickland Williams, and it said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" What do you think that would have said?
I think I probably would have said something like a doctor. I was very into sciences when I was a kid, so I was a very good student. I was very driven and very ambitious. So I think I would have probably wanted to be either a doctor or a lawyer or something like that.
Wow.
And I was like interested in politics as a kid. I mean, I still am, I guess, but I definitely would have.
There must be someone in your family that's into politics.
I don't think anyone's really ever done the political thing, but like my dad's kind of like a sort of a muckety-muck lawyer where he's from, and they've been there for generations and stuff. So people know him. It's, you can't get too far from that stuff. But yeah, I was a very driven, very type A plus personality growing up, and if you read my notes, they would have said some asshole job, some guy that wears a suit and yells at people or something like that.
No suits now, though. Do you ever wear a suit on stage?
Oh yeah, I wear a suit on stage. Yeah, I like to dress up for a show. Maybe not full suit every time, but I like it.
Yeah,
it's good. It's like old school,
Yeah. I like that too. That's one of the. Jimmy Pardo always wore a suit, and now he's casual.
Yeah,
and that really stuck out to me. But it works for him. But
you do it long enough that I think maybe you're like, I don't need to wear the fucking suit anymore.
Yeah, right. 10 years from now, I'll be talking to you like
I'll be just in underwear,
exactly.
A robe and a cigar.
Exactly.
Rodney, actually, that is what Rodney Dangerfield ended up doing. Now I think about it, yeah, got his own club so he could wear a bathrobe.
Do you? Let's talk about some of the sketch stuff that you did.
Sure.
Are you still doing sketch at all?
Not really anymore. I've got a group that we're kind of on hiatus right now, but with some other stand-ups. We made a lot of stuff that was on like IFC, and we made a thing for Comedy Central's digital arm and all this stuff. But
what do you mean it was on IFC? Like
it was on IFC, had this thing called Comedy Crib, which is like they had a bunch of different sketch videos and web series. And actually, this is kind of up in the air, but I think, just last week we got some email about how they're gonna run them on air actually soon. So, but again, I don't know any details about that. They're just asking for some stuff. But yeah. So, I haven't done it in a while. And it's funny because I did it in college, and then when I started doing stand up, I was like, I'll never do it again. Just because it's just a lot of work, and working with other people is great because you can make a great product, but you got to work out schedules and all that sort of stuff. Just stand up is just, and writing on your own, it's like, it's hard and it can be lonely, but just, you don't have to deal with anyone else's shit. So it's just very, very like, a kind of easy thing to do. But yeah, so I haven't really done sketch in a while. I haven't made anything in a while, but, the group that I'm in, that still kind of is like a loose thing, is called Women, and it's womencomedy.com, and we've made so many different sketches that are all like, our thing was we try to keep them pretty short because we figure like, everyone has like a super low attention span right now, and also it's just a way to kind of stand out and just like, hey, here's the joke, get in, get out, bam.
Right.
So there's tons of short videos that will take you, like in total, maybe 20 minutes to watch if you want to check it out.
Nice.
Yeah.
I meant to ask, what was the name of your sketch? I always love hearing the name of sketch groups. What was the one in college?
God, I hate it so much, and I like blatantly was not saying it. So I went to Cornell, and it was the Cornell Schizophrenics. So it was like SKITSO Phrenics, and it was funny because a while back, someone like made a Facebook group for like alumni, and they just finally actually were like, you know what, we're going to change this awful name. So I think now it's just the Skits or something, which is still not great, but it's also, not offensive. And then there's all this history in the group too about it being like the guy that founded the group just like basically one day like stood up in his frat house and was like, I want to start a sketch crew. What should the name be? And then another guy was just like Schizophrenics. And the guy was like, great, that's it. We're going to do that. And then the leader left the group like the next semester. So then it's like just this awful name. And I think there was like a whole bunch of like controversy when it came out for their first show, because people were like, like this is like offensive and schizophrenia is a real thing, blah, blah. And then I think what shut down the controversy was someone was like, my brother has schizophrenia, but he's got a really good sense of humor about it.
Hey,
or something like that. So I was
like,
so then they were like, yeah, we got this name. And I even remember getting into the group and be like, we should definitely change this fucking name. It's awful. So yeah, I always am trying to like not mention it. But all that being said, it was a really cool, like, that was pretty much my introduction to comedy for whatever it's worth. Like learning how to write jokes and how to hit the punches and stuff like that. So it was a terrible name, but a good experience.
I appreciate your honesty in answering that.
Yeah.
Don't be mad at me.
I couldn't lie through my teeth on that one. I hated that fucking name so long.
But keep in mind, like, the reason I even asked is most are bad.
Most are bad. Yeah, but there's a lot out there that are really bad. I remember we would go to these college what do you call it? Like, just like a festival where it's just a bunch of like comedy nerds that have sketch groups or improv groups that no one at their own school probably gives a shit about, coming together so that we can all just give a shit about it together and
my people.
Yeah, and then get drunk and try to have sex with each other.
Band camp.
Yeah, exactly. Very band camp for sure. And there was always like, I think Marist had like the humorists. What else were the other ones? There was like humorists. There's like Purple Crayon, I think was one. That was actually not too bad.
No.
Slow Children at Play. That one's not great. Let's see, Recess, that was good. But yeah, there's just a ton of them that were just so like, and a lot of them were just like a pun on skit or like sketchies, like the sketchies and like stuff like that. So yeah, as always, I'm like, hey, just all of our group names are fucking awful, right? And people are like, yeah, for sure. It's like, okay, great.
So you promise there's no like T-shirt still floating around says like I'm a schizophrenic?
I think there might be. I mean, I know that some people had them made a few years before me.
Oh, really?
So they're probably out there somewhere. But I might actually have some from a festival that had them printed on it, but yeah, they're deep in the closet at this point.
I understand.
Yeah.
So you did Conan already in a short amount of time. That's pretty impressive, man.
Yeah, I thank you. The booker just kind of somehow already knew me, I guess, through maybe shows around town, and I think a lot of that has to do with kind of like the style of how I do comedy, which is, for the most part, even in a long headlining set, it's pretty joke heavy. It's pretty bam, 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 and for late night, I just think that kind of lends itself very well to that setup.
Completely.
So,
I need to bring my wife to see you. She loves the what you
for
just described, the
like
bam, bam,
setup,
bam, bam,
punch,
bam,
misdirection
joke.
stuff. Yeah, I
loves
mean
it.
that's what just always made me laugh. When even before I wanted to do comedy, just even as a fan, I would always gravitate towards that stuff as opposed to, say, maybe like, and not that there's anything wrong with this stuff, but like storytelling or like personal, deep, or quote. I think Norm Macdonald always calls it important comedy. Yeah. So and I try to, you do, if you're on stage, you do everything at some point. You have to cover all the bases, but
Sure.
yeah, I think that was kind of it was, I was just submitting like joke by jokes, and it was either like yeah, do that one, or no, don't do that. So it just kind of, I think it's just a little easier than if you're having to hammer out beat by beats of a story or something like that.
Well, let me say that I watched that set as well as some other ones of yours online. I haven't seen you live because you've never been here before,
First time.
and I was busy last night, so
Yeah.
so I've only seen your stuff online. Very funny.
Thank you.
Let me honestly say that. I'm not going to ruin any of your jokes for you, but just while I have your attention here, I'm just going to say that the joke involving The Rock is so short and funny.
Good.
That is an awesome joke.
Oh, good. Well,
That
I need
is an
to
awesomely hilarious joke.
I need to take that guy out of retirement then. All
Oh, you
right.
don't do that
Sounds
anymore?
good. I just haven't done it in a while. Sometimes, you have so many of these little jokes flying around that some
sure.
of them just, get lost if you don't tell them a few shows in a row. So, yeah, I don't think I've told that one on stage in quite some time, actually. Probably actually since around Conan.
Yeah.
So, oh, yeah, let's dust that
You should
bad
dust
boy
that one
off.
off.
Yeah.
Very funny. Very
Thank
funny.
you.
I actually, I heard it and went, ah! Like, it caught me so off guard. Like, that was awesome.
Oh, good.
Yeah, among other things, but that was the one that really stood out.
Thank you.
What was the first TV thing you did? Couldn't have been Conan.
Let's see. I think it actually, I've done some stuff that's been like digital, quote unquote, online, but no, that was my first TV, for stand-up appearance.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been like featured in like a little, maybe said a line or something and something here and there.
Sure.
But that was, yeah, that's the first stand-up.
Who did you bring with to the Conan taping?
I brought a lot of people actually that I started with. I'm pretty sure I was single at the time, so I didn't bring a girlfriend or anything like that. But I just invited like basically the people that I started with, the people that I used to go to mics with, because I was like, I want this to be like, I want to enjoy it and have a good set, obviously, but also it's like, out of my kind of group of people, that especially those that started in LA, I was the first one to get to do late night. So I wanted to kind of be like, look, we can all do, like, this is for us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at, because I started in LA and there's a lot of other people that did. And LA, we typically, you move to LA, you don't start in LA. And so I want to be like, LA has a scene too, even if most of it is like people coming in from outside of the city and everything. But I kind of just invited like a couple buddies, and we just took over the green room, and it was really fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then you went home and watched it that night?
I went home. I kind of like just sat in a chair for a while, just taking it all in and kind of doing that. And then there's a little sort of, it closed down now, but there's this place called Echoes Under Sunset, which was kind enough to do a like live viewing party of it. So we just like
Nice.
hooked it up on a big projector, and there were tons of fucking people there, and we just watched it and then got drunk. It was great.
Very, very cool. Any other? So that's the only late night stuff that you've done?
Yeah, I've done some others. I mean, I had there's this new channel called Viceland, which is the Vice's new network that they're launching. There's a show on there called Flophouse.
I wanted to ask you about that. So you were on that show?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
on that. I was on the season finale of the first season, which aired a few months ago.
Yeah, this year.
And so I did that.
That's the what's his name? Bangs, Lance Bangs?
Lance Bangs, yeah, Lance
That's his
Bangs.
deal, right?
That's a show, and the people that kind of were always hosting the show, at least the one in LA, they would go to like a different comedy, quote unquote, flop house, and have the local people there. The people that lived in the LA house are some of like my closest friends. This guy Eric Dodorian and Solomon Giorgio and James Austin Johnson. And it was like Claire O'Kane. She was in a lot of those too. But yeah, that was another thing that I got to do, and that was a really fun like half party, half comedy stand-up show sort of thing.
Nice. Nice. I think I just recognized the name you said. Do you do a podcast with one of those guys?
Oh, yeah. So Eric Dodorian and I have a podcast called Whatever, where we talk about whatever. He's like one of my all-time favorite comedians and really close friends.
Right on.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about that besides you talk about whatever? What days it comes out? How long are
we
doing
usually
it?
release on Fridays. We're not going to do that this week because of the holiday, but we release on Fridays, and I think
you're like the trash pickup. It gets pushed back a day when there's a holiday.
We 3-day weekend. We're going to take a break. Also, I was out of town. I am out of town right now. But we just usually do it on Fridays, and we just have a friend on, and we play some dumb little Twitter games and stuff, and it's just a very, very silly podcast.
Yeah, right on. How long have you been doing that one?
I think we've got about 10 or 12 under our belt. We haven't been doing it too long, but we've been releasing them like one a week. So,
okay.
Yeah.
It's still a baby.
Yeah, it's a baby boy.
It's still a baby. I think the last thing I want to ask you about sketch stuff is some people I've seen sometimes they like Saturday Night Live got accused of this, I think, in the last season of stealing someone else's idea.
Oh yeah, I remember
Mad
that
TV's coming back. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
Mad TV's coming back.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anything that resembles anything you've done?
No, I mean I haven't really watched Mad TV in a while, but or SNL, but whenever it comes down to almost anything like that of people accusing someone, like you do see jokes, like I see it more with jokes than anything of like, okay, that's a similar premise, or like, okay, that's the same punchline basically. But to me, it's like it just is a waste of time to worry about that stuff. It's like we're all drawing from pretty similar experiences, and we're all pretty smart comedians. It's like there's, a lot of the reasons why jokes are funny and can make like a huge room laugh is because we were just one step ahead of like the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
It's not that they couldn't figure it out on their own or another comedian couldn't. It's just like who's getting to that punchline. So I don't know. I've had a couple instances on both sides where, and especially when you first start out, I think you're a little more precious with everything.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's a nice way to put that.
Nowadays, I'm like, I don't fucking care if I walked in and someone was doing my whole act. I'm like, oh, fine, enjoy it. Like, I'll just go do it wherever else.
Yeah.
That's just. But I mean, I get it. I get why people get upset by it and everything. But it's just, to me, it's kind of just like, you got bigger fish to fry. Just do your jokes.
Sure, fair enough. Did you get a car to drive around while you're here in town?
No, I'm on foot. I'm happy to be on foot and not have to deal with driving coming from LA. It's almost like a vacation when I don't have to. When they tell me that the hotel's right next to the club, I'm like, all right, well, just tell me where the other bar is when the club closes, and then we'll be fine. And then I'll really have all my bases covered.
There you go. Perfect. So I brought this thing along. This is something, and I'm gonna give credit where credit is due.
Okay.
I took this. I actually made a photocopy of something I found in my daughter's backpack on the last day of school.
Okay.
All right. It says it's summertime. Would you rather? This is something that my daughter was given in the last couple of days of school, and I'm going to ask you some of these questions.
Okay, great.
All right. I see the look on your face looks like this. You don't think this is the worst idea.
I love hypotheticals.
Okay, perfect. And now keep in mind these were given to a 10-year-old.
Right on my level.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So I looked it over. I've crossed out some of them, but we'll start off with this one. And you got back up your answers. Of course.
I know. Yeah.
You know.
I'm a pretty smart 10-year-old.
Would you rather have to wear your swimsuit on stage or carry around a large beach umbrella all day?
Swimsuit on stage.
Swimsuit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like carrying stuff around.
No.
These hands are not meant for work.
That's a perfect answer. Okay. That's the correct answer. No,
good.
Would you rather go on a 1-week vacation anywhere in the world that you want, or would you rather go on a month-long vacation, but you have to stay within 200 miles of your hometown?
My hometown would be... Well, I guess I could go on a month-long vacation to Savannah, Savannah, Georgia, beautiful. Yeah. But no, I would take the week because I also get a little restless on vacation after a while. So I would take a week. I would go somewhere I've never been before that is far away from Florida and really enjoy it.
Where have you traveled? Well, let's delve into that real quick. Have you gone outside the country?
I've gone outside the country. I mean, we used to go on like cruises a little bit, like down to the Bahamas, if that counts. But then I have gone to like Spain, France, and Italy. I was a little too young to appreciate it. I'd like to do that again, I think, because when I went out, I was like, just turning into a teenager, so I was like over it and napping all the time. But
this is stupid.
This is stupid, and then I'm just like jerking off in the in the Vatican. Yeah. So I'm trying. I would probably want to go back there, or I've always wanted to go. I've never even gone to Hawaii. So that's like the next thing I want to do is I just want to go to like Hawaii or one of those sort of like Bora Bora, like just, crystal blue water.
My wife mentions Bora Bora. I'm like, did you just hear that like on a cartoon?
I don't even know if it's a real place.
Is it a real place?
Like Kalamazoo, Walla Walla.
Exactly.
Bora Bora.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Timbuktu.
I want a Mai Tai and like clear blue water. That's what I want.
All right. Go to the beach but forget your towel, or go to the beach but forget your sunscreen?
I just would have to forget my towel.
Yeah.
I can't go without sunscreen. I would you see me. I'm translucent.
Ditto.
You're looking right through me right now.
Yeah. We're looking through each other right now. Yeah, I spent most of July 3rd on the St. Croix River. My friends invited us out on a boat.
Oh, that's great.
And I put on I call it liquid sweater.
Sure. Yeah, and
SPF 50.
I like getting in the pool. I like being by the lake or at the beach and all that. But yeah, even if I'm just going out on a hike, I have to wear tons of sunscreen. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yep, white nerds right here.
Yep,
absolutely. Get stung by 3 bees or another sunburn, or get a really bad sunburn. What kind of pain?
I think I would still have to go with the bees because I know I'm not allergic, and the last time I got stung by a bee, I was 4, and I cried like a 3-year-old. And I think I could handle the pain a little bit better now, even though there's 3. But sunburns, man, I just can't deal with it. It just ruins my whole life, and it looks so god awful. I'd take the bee stings.
You haven't been stung by a bee since you were 4?
Yeah.
Wow.
We worked out a deal.
Apparently. Wow.
I don't eat honey, and they don't sting me.
Or go outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. Would you rather have a lemonade stand every day for a month to make extra money, or do yard work for a week?
Lemonade stand for sure. I used to do yard work actually when I was like high school for my family. My grandmother, my great-grandmother, and my family's house. I basically did all the mowing the lawns and weeding and all that stuff.
Any money involved?
No. This was more just like, this is your duty as a member of the family. It was god awful. It was so hot. I mean, it's Florida, so it's god awful. And I would rather. I don't even remember what the other one was, but I just hate yard work so much. I never want to. That's the thing too. Is like, whenever anyone starts talking about like having a house and anything, like I just start having a nightmare because I'm like, the last thing I want in my life is a yard.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, maybe like rocks are fine or whatever, but no, nothing I got to take care of.
Interesting. I'm the opposite. I owned a house and now I'm in a townhome, and the fact I don't have a yard to take care of drives me. Yeah, I hate it. I want a yard. I have a little patio garden just to get as much as I can.
No, I'm like, I don't even want to deal with a succulent.
You can succulent.
Yeah, succulent on that.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. These are going to get pretty controversial, so I hope you're ready.
Oh, the 10-year-olds take a turn.
I wish. Let's see. Would you rather have as much ice cream as you want this summer, but only vanilla, or you get to have ice cream 3 times, but you can have whatever flavor you want?
I definitely would. I'm a vanilla boy. I like vanilla, so I'll take, if I can have as much as I want, I'll make that deal with the white devil.
White devil. I'm gonna cross that out and write white devil here.
Yeah, there you go.
If I ever use this again. Let's see. Would you rather have a job working as a lifeguard or have a job working as a carnival ride operator?
Ooh,
Can you swim?
Both are so dangerous. I guess I would rather be a ride operator.
Really?
Yeah, because for one thing, I think they get a bad rap, and I feel like I could bring some sophistication to the whole operation. So.
Okay, well then, let's say this, because this is something I always try to pull, and I always assume a lot of people do this. It gets to be we're at the state fair, or some place where it takes tickets to ride, to get on a ride.
Sure.
And let's say it says 6 tickets, and we need 12 of them for 2 people. I'll kind of just fold them up, and then just hand them to the guy. Like,
sure.
There's 10. He's not really going to count them.
Yeah.
And let us in. Would you be okay with that?
I'd be okay with that for sure, but I would also encourage cash tips.
Cash tips.
Yeah, like at a fancy restaurant.
There we go.
And then you get the nice seat and at the front of the roller coaster and everything.
Extra time on the tilt-a-whirl. Yeah, I like. Now we'll see how vain you are.
Incredibly.
Would you rather get a brand new bicycle or get a new set of clothes every day all summer long?
I would rather get new clothes.
New clothes?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You can never bust too many good looks, and I don't know. I haven't been on a bike and I can't remember the last time I went on a bike. Actually, I think I was probably drunk at home in Florida, riding around St. Augustine. Actually, but it's been a really long time, so I probably have forgotten how to ride one at this point.
You don't have a bike out in L.A.?
No. No. The parking's too bad for bikes.
Skateboard?
Too crowded. No, I either drive or Uber or Lyft or walk. I actually do walk a lot in LA, but I'm the only one.
We'll do a few more of these. Would you rather have the best summer ever, but then not be able to remember any of it, or have an ordinary summer and be able to remember everything?
I'm pretty used to having the best time ever and not remembering it. So yeah, I'll go with that one. I feel like that's probably what's going to happen anyway. So yeah, I think you always go for a better time over an ordinary time.
Okay. Yep. Would you rather have your whole body turn bright blue whenever you get wet, or your hair turn neon green whenever you're in the sunlight? Green hair or blue skin?
I really like. I've always liked the color green, so I think I would go with green hair in the sun.
Green hair?
I think I could make that work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a friend in college that had green hair.
Yeah.
And he did it that way. Yeah. It's all good.
I
didn't know anybody with blue skin.
I had a friend with blue skin, but turns out they were just they were very ill.
Turns out they asking me for mouth to mouth.
They kept putting their hands around their neck and pointing at it. I was like, I don't know what you're saying, dude.
Is this a game?
Yeah.
Tell me what we're playing. All right, one more here. Would you rather have an exchange student from another country stay with you for the whole summer, or would you rather be that exchange student?
I'd rather be the exchange student.
Yeah.
I'd rather go check somewhere else out. Even though it could be someplace terrible, I guess, or someplace really hot. But yeah, I'd rather do that. I don't like being a host. I think I'm a great guest, terrible host.
Okay.
Because I get out of people's hair and I can go out into the world and not worry about anything and basically just come home to sleep on a bed. But whenever someone else is in my space, I feel like, I don't know, it's always like a monkey on my back. I got to deal with this person.
Sure. Do you ever do that Airbnb? when you're on the road?
Sometimes when I'm on the road, I'll do it, and typically it's always really great, and the people are usually pretty friendly, and they're kind of like, if you want to interact with them, you can, and if not, you can kind of just do your own thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good.
Okay, yeah, I've never done that. I suggested it to my wife recently, and she thought I was asking her to
stay in a prison.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to get sexually assaulted? Or no, that's not what I'm asking you. But that's what she was listening to.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Nope. Speaking of my wife, she bought a ticket to that Adele concert the night before. She bought it Monday to go to last night's show.
Smart.
Because it sold out that show sold out in seconds. It went on sale months ago. So she waited the last minute. She paid $200 for tickets for the 100 level. What's the most you've ever paid for a concert ticket?
Not even close to that. I think maybe the most I've ever paid is maybe 50. Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Who do you think that was to?
I went to the Hollywood Bowl to see St. Vincent and Erykah Badu.
Oh.
And it was a great time. But yeah, tickets were, I mean, maybe $45 each. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't recommend doing 200
no.
for almost anything. Almost anything. I saw the Mega Millions. Do you ever buy lottery tickets?
Every once in a while, if it's like a lot or if I'm drunk.
You don't you don't have any fear of winning? Because I call that too much money.
Oh,
they're
people
saying that this next one on Friday is going to be over $500 million.
The lotto curse. There's like apparently a lottery curse too. Of like if you win the lottery, then like someone in your family dies or you go bankrupt. It's just because you're an idiot and you have all this money and you're like doing something stupid. But no, I'm not. I wouldn't be afraid of that. I think I know how to handle it. But then of course I would probably just wind up dead within like a month.
I just think about the people on the periphery of my life that would be like, dude, buddy.
It's pretty hard to play it off when you win that much money.
Yeah.
But then like I think sometimes you can choose not to be public about it. So maybe that's what you should do. Maybe you win and then you just don't tell anybody. And people are like, wait, you haven't worked in like 35 years. Wait a second. Why do you have 3 butlers?
You never drive over anywhere. You're always getting dropped off in that limo.
Yeah.
Convenience.
Yeah. It's a new app.
New app, yeah. Well, if let's just pretend you bought a ticket and you win this Friday, what would be the first thing you splurge on?
I'd probably get my car fixed. Might get my engine checked out.
You don't know what's wrong with the car?
I might splurge on something like, I don't know, health insurance. That could be kind of cool. Maybe to buy some floss.
Alan, hey, come on now. You're getting carried away here. Life insurance, health insurance.
God, I know. I'm a dreamer. What can I say?
Maybe you want to get a bike.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Maybe a bike. Maybe a tandem.
They're not cheap anymore.
No,
they're not cheap anymore. What else? Is there anything else we should be mentioning here before we're done here? The people need to know about you. Do you bring anything? Do you bring anything to sell? Do you have anything to push on people after the shows?
I'm selling kisses after the show.
Selling kisses?
No, I'm just here, just with the jokes in my pocket. So yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, come through, come laugh.
I did think of something I was going to ask you here. I noticed on the on each of the sets I watch of yours online. At the beginning of your set, you name how many jokes are coming. Is that something you still do?
Yeah, I do that every once in a while. It depends on how I'm feeling and what the show's kind of like. But
so when you're doing 50 minutes hour here,
sometimes I'll still count them and let you know. Sometimes I just go right into it.
Okay,
that's how I feel. But I like to. I mean, like I think the most I've ever done on stage was something like 59 or something like that.
Okay.
59 or something like that. I mean, it's crazy. But
I'm gonna tell you 59 jokes.
I'm gonna tell you 59. Start counting. Yeah.
I like that. It does kind of set a tone.
Yeah, sure. It lets you know what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah, now he has my attention. All right. You better back it
Well,
up, pal.
that's the other thing too, is that like I've noticed people will come up to me after shows and be like, "Well, I only counted 17." It's like, well, you're supposed to laugh at all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good. I've been doing that for a while, and I think it's a good way to. I just think it's a good way to jump in.
Yeah, no, I like it. Well, that's all I have for us, I think.
Cool.
Continued success, sir. I mean, you're moving fast.
Thank you, man.
So,
yeah, things are going good.
come back here in a year, and we'll do this again.
Perfect. Love
and,
it.
For people listening to this, come out and see Alan and his 2 other names.
Yeah, those guys too. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks for having us.